Face in the magic mirror, search high and far and wide. Through wind and darkness I beckon you, summon forth our guide.
As you will, Master.
Hello everyone, I'm Angela Lansbury. Walt Disney's animated feature Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is only the beginning of what you will find in this remarkable DVD experience. There is so much more to see in the world of Snow White that I'd like to share some of the highlights with you now on a special VIP tour. What we'll be seeing are just a sampling. The complete contents can be accessed by going to the Bonus Features menu. If at any time you'd like to bypass any of the stops on the tour, just press the skip button on your remote control. First, let's take a look at the behind-the-scenes story of how Snow White was made, with an excerpt from the colorful and fascinating documentary, The Making of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Behind the success of Snow White was the visionary who brought her to life. Walt Disney was a unique American genius, a great storyteller, artist, and innovator. Born in Chicago in 1901, his early career as a cartoonist was interrupted by the First World War. In 1923, Walt joined with his brother Roy and entered the infant animation industry. In those days, a feature film was preceded by trailers, newsreels, live-action short subjects, and a cartoon. While Walt Disney may be best remembered for the creation of Mickey Mouse, the world's most recognizable movie star, his early accomplishments are equally impressive. Before Mickey, Walt had produced a popular series called the Alice Comedies, which were silent cartoons featuring a live-action little girl in an animated world. In 1928, Disney introduced the very first sound cartoon, the landmark film that launched the career of Mickey Mouse. And in 1932, Disney premiered the first cartoon in full color. For his advancements in the field of animation, Disney had won 4 Academy Awards by 1934. But despite the phenomenal success of Mickey Mouse and the animated shorts, Walt realized that only feature films would generate the kind of income that would allow his studio to grow.
I saw the handwriting on the walls early. Because as a short subject, it was just a filler on any program. I just felt I just had to diversify my business. Now, if I could crack the feature field, I could do things.
Again, he wanted to expand the medium. He wanted to expand his storytelling possibilities.
He could use animation and take animation further to really tell a story, to tell a story from beginning to end that would involve all of the audience's emotions.
As early as 1933, Walt planned to put Mary Pickford in an animated world for a feature-length version of Alice in Wonderland. But it was scrapped when Paramount produced an all-star version the same year. This one frame of film is all that exists of the Technicolor tests. In the spring of 1934, Walt finally decided on Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. It was a revolutionary idea. No one in Hollywood had ever attempted to tell a full-length story in animation before. The story of Snow White goes back to the 1812 Grimm Brothers collection of fairy tales, and even the earliest filmmakers had capitalized on the familiarity of the tale. This silent version is a film that Walt saw in 1916.
It's the thing I remembered as a kid. I saw Marguerite Clark in it in Kansas City one time when I was a newsboy. They had a big showing for all the newsboys, and I went and saw Snow White. It's probably one of my first big feature pictures I'd ever seen.
Nearly 20 years after seeing that Snow White, Walt was well established, producing cartoons in his own Hollywood studio, employing hundreds of people. One night in 1934, he gathered his key artists together to unveil his plans.
He gave us 50 cents apiece, which was a lot of money, the equivalent of at least $10 now, to have a nice dinner and to come back to the studio where he related by himself the whole Snow White story. He acted all the parts. He even indicated the songs. He had the characters. Everything in this Snow White picture was completely developed in his own mind. We were also steamed up, so enthused for this project that it didn't really cross our minds to doubt that it could be done. In other words, if Walt felt that we could do it, we'd better find a way to do it.
At the heart of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is the remarkable man who dreamed it. Our next stop will be a highlight from an audio commentary which runs concurrent with the entire feature. This commentary is gathered from dozens of hours of rare archival recordings of Walt Disney himself.